Welcome to the Authority Property Management audio blog, where rentals, real estate, and reality collide. Whether you're renting it out, living in it, or thinking about investing, we've got insights, stories, and strategies to keep you in the know. Let's dive right into today's topic.
Why California SB 522 could stall disaster recovery and shrink rental housing. How new rent control rules on rebuilt properties may discourage reconstruction and harm both landlords and tenants in need. At Authority Property Management, we've weathered more than our share of wildfires, floods, and emergency declarations here in Northern California. We know what it takes to help families and landlords recover, and we also know when legislation makes it harder, not easier. That's exactly why we oppose Senate Bill 522. This proposed bill could have serious consequences for property owners trying to rebuild after a disaster. While the intent might be to protect renters from sudden rent spikes, the reality is that SB 522 would discourage rebuilding entirely, leaving fewer homes for everyone and stalling recovery when communities need it most. Let's break it down. What is SB 522? California's Tenant Protection Act of 2019 already places rent caps on many properties, but it exempts new construction for 15 years, including units rebuilt after disasters like wildfires or earthquakes. SB 522, introduced by Senator 𝘕𝘌𝘕 𝘕𝘌𝘙𝘌, would strip away that exemption. If passed, any rental property rebuilt or substantially renovated after a disaster would be subject to immediate rent caps, the same way older buildings are. On the surface, that sounds like tenant protection. But in practice? It could derail the rebuilding process altogether. Why Authority Property Management opposes SB 522? Rebuilding costs are real and high. Construction after a disaster is rarely a cosmetic refresh. It often requires full demo, debris removal, updated permits, energy code compliance, and sometimes months of red tape. That's not cheap. Under current law, property owners are able to charge market rate rents for up to 15 years, allowing time to recoup some of those massive expenses. SB 522 would eliminate that path, making it nearly impossible for many landlords, especially mom-and-pop owners, to break even, let alone rebuild. Financing would get tougher overnight. Let's say a landlord wants to rebuild a burned-down triplex in Redding. They go to a bank or lender for financing. That lender asks, "What will your income be once it's rebuilt?" If the landlord can't show a viable return because rent caps limit future revenue, chances are slim they'll secure that loan. No financing means no rebuild. It hurts tenants too. Yes, you read that right. While the bill is marketed as pro-tenant, it may ultimately reduce housing availability, keeping displaced renters out of their communities for longer. In places like Shasta Lake, Anderson, and other rural Northern California towns, there's no surplus of housing to fall back on. If landlords can't rebuild, tenants have nowhere to go. And if they do rebuild under strict rent caps, they may be forced to rent elsewhere just to stay financially solvent. It undermines the recovery process. After a major fire, earthquake, or flood, the top priority is always to get homes rebuilt fast. Local contractors, vendors, and workers rely on those projects. Property owners make insurance claims, line up resources, and move mountains to restore habitability. SB 522 throws a wrench in that entire process. It removes incentives to reinvest in fire-affected communities and adds uncertainty for everyone involved. How you can speak out against SB 522. If you're a landlord, property owner, investor, or even a tenant who values rapid disaster recovery, your voice matters. Step 1: Call your California State Senator. Find your senator. Once you have their name, you can find their Capitol Office phone number in CA Senate directory and give them a call. Suggested call script. Hello, I'm a constituent and a property owner. I'm calling to urge the senator to vote no on SB 522. This bill would hurt our ability to rebuild housing after disasters, make financing nearly impossible, and ultimately reduce available homes for renters. Please oppose SB 522. Step 2: Send an email or letter. Writing takes 5 minutes and adds another layer of pressure. Sample email. Subject: Please vote no on SB 522. Dear Senator Name. As a property owner in your city, I'm deeply concerned about SB 522. This bill would make it extremely difficult to rebuild housing after wildfires and other disasters by removing rent control exemptions for new construction. Property owners need flexibility to recover costs and secure financing, and this bill will only delay recovery and reduce housing supply for everyone. I respectfully urge you to vote no. Sincerely. Your full name. Your city or zip code. What we stand for at 𝘿𝑺𝘐 Property Management. We believe in smart housing policy that balances tenant protections with real-world economics. Our team has supported property owners through multiple disasters, and we know firsthand what's required to rebuild a safe, habitable unit. SB 522 doesn't make that easier, it makes it harder. Whether you manage one duplex or hundreds of units, we encourage you to raise your voice now, before this bill becomes law. Wrap up. SB 522 sounds good on paper, but it's out of touch with the reality of disaster recovery in California. It risks stalling reconstruction, deterring investment, and reducing long-term housing supply, all while making it harder for landlords to get back on their feet and tenants to return home. If you care about housing recovery, economic fairness, and tenant stability, help us keep the pressure on. Let's make sure California supports rebuilding, not roadblocks. Contact 𝘿𝑺𝘐 Property Management if you'd like help navigating post-disaster planning, rebuilding strategy, or compliance issues.
Thanks for tuning into the 𝘿𝑺𝘐 Property Management audio blog. For more expert landlord or tenant tips, local market updates, and property management support, visit us at 𝘿𝑺𝘐𝑃M.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or even drop us a review. Follow us on social media for the latest. Until next time, stay informed, stay profitable.